Anthony Quinn Warner drove an RV down into downtown Nashville, and then he proceeded to blow it up. So he starts a countdown for the last 15 minutes, and it's like every minute, it's like this RV is going to blow up. And in between each of those 1 minute announcements, the song Downtown is playing on repeat, which is hilarious.
Welcome back to Creeps, Crimes, and Cryptids, brought to you by Ghost City Tours, the world's #1 ghost tour company. We are focused today on Music City itself, the great city of Nashville, Tennessee. Carter Cimino here, along with my friend Paul Dale, here to talk a little bit about some of the Creeps, Crimes, and Cryptids of Nashville and the Tennessee area. First things first, Paul, you can't think of Tennessee without going to the Ryman, the great Ryman Theater.
Yeah.
You ever been?
No.
Well, I have. And let me tell you, I didn't see any ghosts, but you do feel something there. I don't know if it's just the musician in me, or I was just wanting to feel something, or just in awe that I was on the same stage as some of the greats in country music history. But you definitely feel something when you're in there. And people who have worked there for years have claimed that there are particular, not scary hauntings, but hauntings nonetheless.
Original Grand Ole Opry, right?
It was the original Grand Ole Opry. It opened back in 1892, actually. It was originally built as the Union Gospel Tabernacle. It was founded by a man, Thomas G. Ryman. He was a steamboat captain turned evangelical supporter. So he built this big church, and as people started to, congregate in, then eventually, fast forward to like 1943 to 1974, that's when it became the Grand Ole Opry. Thousands of performances happened across that stage over 130 plus years, not just when it was the Grand Ole Opry. Now they've got the comedy shows in there. I saw Kid Rock's Comedy Jam there one time.
The kid.
Yeah, the kid himself. It was actually converted to a movie theater for a little bit, but because of some of like the religious components to it, and a lot of country music comes from a lot of gospel and whatnot. They would have these big sermons there, so maybe some of the spirituality has led some to believe that there is still a presence there of spirits at the Ryman.
So let me ask you this: what is the history of country music? Like, where does that come from?
The Carter family.
I'm sorry?
The Carter family.
Are you making a joke? Or are you being serious?
No, the Carter.
No, to which one?
The Carter family is known as the first country music group, I believe. They, of course, country brought in elements of old Celtic music, sure. Brought in guitars from the Spanish as well. So kind of a formation of all of those into mixing it. I guess probably also hymns had a role in it as well. Carter family is known as one of the first families of country music to get on the radio, but its roots can go trace back to even enslaved Africans. I think have a tie into that as well. But it's kind of like here in Louisiana, kind of like a gumbo, just a amalgamation of a bunch of different things coming together.
So why did Nashville become the country music hub?
Nashville became the country music hub because I don't know.
Okay,
I was gonna bullshit some answer to you. I don't know.
Great,
I should know.
Good answer.
Convenience? I don't know, man. But back to the hauntings of the Ryman. Some people believe that the ghost of Thomas G. Ryman is what is being seen there. Some people say that he's watching from the balcony. Others say that there's like cold spots in several seating areas within the theater. There's also some unexplained noises that happen all the time. But much like every other type of old building, Paul, we're not just going to give you the sensational stuff.
Sure.
We're gotta counter it with some, logic.
Yeah.
So an old building, old wood tends to make noise.
Call this episode Creeks, Crimes, and Cryptids.
There you go. There's lots of creeks in the Ryman.
Sorry.
Some people have also said that in the backstage they felt things like brush against them when they weren't there. Mm-hmm. Objects have moved in the past. So although there hasn't been any sort of like Bell Witch type of of Haunting, which of course is another Tennessee legend.
Yes.
There's just weird stuff that has happened there over the years, and maybe there is some remnants of energy that is left behind in the Ryman of all the years of passionate performances and churchgoers doing their sermons and such.
So you said his name was Edward Ryman?
Thomas.
Okay. And that was the steamboat guy.
Yes.
Is there anybody else who's reported to hang out in the Ryman?
Hey, Hank.
Hank? I thought he was in Montgomery.
Oh, yeah. Where isn't Hank? I'm sure there are some people have said that they've heard the voices of musicians of the past, but any sort of specific person is usually characterizes the ghost of Thomas G. Ryman.
Ah, okay.
But he's not causing a ruckus. He's just overseeing the place, you know?
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Yeah, he's
enjoying the tunes.
Where would you, if you were to be that type of ghost and hang out somewhere, where would you hang out?
The Hooters in Slidell, Louisiana.
We'll be right back to the episode of Creeps, Crimes, and Cryptids, Nashville, Tennessee. And if you like Nashville, you want to go to Nashville, never been to Nashville, while you're there, you should take a Ghost City tour. We have 3 tours that we offer over in Nashville. We have the Ghost of Nashville tour. We also have the Nashville Haunted Pub Crawl for the 21 and older crowd, and the Murder in Music City Ghost Tour. That one's 16 and up, but the Ghost of Nashville tour is great for the whole family. You can go on our website, ghostcitytours.com. Look at the thousands of reviews that we have there. People love Nashville. People love Ghost City Tours. Be a part of it in Nashville, Tennessee. ghostcitytours.com. All right, let's get back to the episode. All right, so that was our kind of a creepy thing, you know, and it's not even that creepy, you know, just a ghost hanging out.
Just hanging out, chilling.
Wants to hear some good music.
Yeah.
Maybe some stand-up comedy, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Loves it.
He loves the yucks. So what about a crime that's happened in Nashville, Paul?
Boy, all right. So I'm gonna give you 3.
Okay.
Because I like 3 because it's a nice number.
Sure.
It's a trifecta. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So first up,
It's very embedded in the ethos of the show.
yeah, that's right. All right. So back in the 1970s, there was a country music singer by the name of George Jones, the Possum, right? The Great Possum, a man who Frank Sinatra said had the second best singing voice in the entire world.
First being Frank.
Yes. I mean, he was, yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, so one day, old George decides that he's back on the wagon, right? Back on the wagon. George had a history of not being on the wagon, as I'm sure you know. He's a country music fan. And George's wife got really upset because every time she would leave the house, old George would drive himself down to the bar and go get hammered. Well, there was no booze in the house, and old George decided that he was going to take himself down to the old pub down the road, if you will. But his wife took the car keys and threw them in the bushes. So George did what any good alcoholic would do. He fired up the John Deere, proceeded to drive it down the road, park himself at a bar, and get hammered. And unfortunately for him, his wife eventually found him there and said, "Boys, the little lady's found me." Then he had to drive his lawnmower back home hammered. And that's the part of the story that's a crime. Drunk driving a lawnmower in Nashville.
That is... I've heard that story before. My little wife is here.
So yeah, that's a fun crime. You ever driven drunk, Carter?
Have I ever driven drunk?
Yeah.
No, not once.
Oh, that's good. So the second one, this is another little lighthearted crime before we get to the dark one. And the dark one's a doozy. When I was in Nashville, I'm not a big fan of white cowboy boots and bachelorette parties. I mean, I used to be when I was a younger man, but I'm old now and I'm married, and by God, I can't hang anymore.
That was just annoying.
So, yeah, as much as I love Luke Bryan on repeat, I really wanted to get off of Broadway. So I was in a bar over there on Nashville, and I asked a bouncer at the bar, I said, "Hey, man, what's the worst dive bar in Nashville, Tennessee?" I said, "I want a place where you would never, ever, ever recommend for a tourist to go to. A place where you might get stabbed." And by God, this man was a kindred spirit because he led me to just such a place. It's a place called the Batter's Box. And the thing he told me about the Batter's Box, he said, "Well, I'll tell you this about the Batter's Box." He says, "I tell you, they outlawed smoking here in Nashville about 10 years back." He said, "But I guarantee you walk into the Batter's Box today, everybody in there's got a cigarette in their hand." So he gave me directions to get down to the Batter's Box, and by God, when I opened up that door, it did not disappoint. So there's the second crime, indoor smoking in a bar in Nashville. And my God, I had
Crime was committed by you.
I have no comment. I don't know what the statute of limitations on indoor smoking in Tennessee is.
Oh man. So I just I won't tell anybody, first off. And before we get to a real dark crime, from what I understand, just rewind real quick. Looked it up. Obviously, it's the most obvious answer in the world why country music, that Nashville is the capital of country music. It was all because of the Grand Ole Opry was started there. So it just became like this.
Now the Ryman.
Yeah. Come on down to the Grand Ole Opry because it's a big radio station, right? And so people from in the South would hear this radio broadcast and like they want to be a part of the scene. So they come down to where the scene was, which is the radio broadcast. Hence how then, of course, money started coming in and record companies started being formed and the rest is history.
All right, let's talk about a big crime.
Big crime.
All right, so many of you may remember this. It was back in 2020, Christmas Day. A man by the name of Anthony Quinn Warner drove an RV down into downtown Nashville.
That's right.
And then he proceeded to blow it up.
Not good.
Not great. Well, it's debatable. So, okay, here's what happens with Anthony Warner, right? He parks it outside of the AT&T building.
See how you spin this. Go ahead.
You may or may not remember at the time, there was a lot of, there was a certain virus that was going around at this time. And there was some conspiracy theories percolating that it was caused by 5G.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
That was a fun era to live through.
I remember that.
Anthony Quinn Warner, he parks his RV out in front of the AT&T building because he's going to blow up the 5G towers, right? And he puts out this big like signal with this robotic woman's voice saying, this RV is going to explode, evacuate the area, right? And he pumps this out for like 2 hours. People claim they heard gunshots and people were running away from the area, whatever. It takes Nashville police like 3 hours to go respond to this. So.
What are they, New Orleans cops?
So anyway, here's where it gets really fun though. In the last 15 minutes, he starts a countdown like, hey, I'm going to blow up this RV. Meanwhile, the cops are getting everybody out of the area, yada, yada, yada. So he starts a countdown for the last 15 minutes, and it's like every minute, it's like this RV is going to blow up in 7 minutes or whatever it is. And in between each of those 1 minute announcements, the song Downtown is playing on repeat, which is hilarious. Objectively.
Man had taste.
Downtown. This RV will blow up in 10 minutes. Can you imagine? This is very early in the morning. Police get everybody out of the area. Explosion happens. Some people were injured, unfortunately, but everybody lived with the exception of Anthony Quinn Warner. There's been a lot of speculation about what his motive was and why he specifically wanted to blow up the AT&T towers. Some people have said he claimed to have cancer and that this was an unaliving himself thing. Other people have speculated that he was a deep, deep conspiracy theorist and that he believed in reptilian humanoids and that AT&T was taking over the world. And so he was going to take out the AT&T towers. You might also remember around this time, there was a lot of these weird like car explosions that happened. There was another guy, I want to say he was in Vegas, who blew up his Tesla in front of the Trump building. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
He was also the only one who got killed and was claiming that there were aliens and anti-gravitational technology. Should have talked about that one on that podcast.
What are you suggesting?
Listen, I'm suggesting that I think that the government is honest and truthful, and there's never anything untoward that they do, especially not with the AT&T company. And if people wanted to look it up, 33 Thomas Street, New York City, there's an interesting AT&T building there that I'm not saying is an NSA building because it has absolutely no windows and it's just pure concrete.
For the record, you just got your brakes fixed, correct?
Yes, I did. I just got my brakes fixed and I love being alive.
And you're a good swimmer.
I'm an excellent swimmer, unlike certain people's chefs.
Okay. So before we move on from this, so how did he die in the explosion?
He died in the explosion, yeah.
Was he in the van the whole time?
Allegedly, if you believe the official narrative, he was in the RV,
okay,
just chilling. He was a 60-something-year-old man with no criminal history, with the exception of he had a charge for marijuana possession in the 70s. Outside of that, he was just a normal guy. He owned 2 houses. He gave both of them away to a woman, relationship undetermined, And yeah, they claim. Oh, also his father worked for Bell South, which was acquired by AT&T. So some people have speculated that it was an anger thing at AT&T for something they did to his father.
That's a long play. Bell South hasn't been.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Or maybe, just maybe, he knew that the reptilians were going to use the Nashville AT&T towers to scramble everyone's brain, and he had to stop it. I mean, like, I'm not saying it's a great thing. I don't think that anyone should unalive themselves. But the fact that the guy did like warn everybody, was like, hey, don't die. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, as far as blowing stuff up goes, at least he gave plenty of warning.
Yeah, he was all right about it. Like, personally, I would have gotten out of the RV and gone somewhere else.
Maybe he couldn't detonate it remotely.
He didn't have the technology. And that's a whole other question.
Someone had to queue up downtown.
He couldn't figure out how to put it on repeat. Yeah, you had to sit there with his CD.
You ever try to show a boomer how to work an iPhone?
It's rough. It's a rough go, dude. He really wanted that banger to play before the banger.
We'll be right back to the rest of this episode of Creeps, Crimes, and Cryptids, focusing on the city of Nashville. But first, let's talk about all of our tours, Paul. All of our tours. List them all right now.
Right now, you've got Austin, Texas, St. Augustine, Florida, Key West, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, New Orleans, Houston, Fort Worth, Galveston, San Antonio, Phoenix, Tombstone, Arizona.
I'm going to cut you off there. We've got so many different tours throughout the
Gettysburg.
nation. Go to GhostCityTours.com to take one of our hundreds of tours that we offer. Like we mentioned earlier in the episode, we offer 3 in the city of Nashville. You're going to love it. Some are good for the whole family. Some are based for adults. We have pub crawls, different types of paranormal haunts that you can sink your teeth in. Go visit the city of Nashville in Nashville. While you're there, go to GhostCityTours.com to book your tour today. All right, let's wrap up this episode. All right, so for our cryptid, Paul, it's not indigenous necessarily to the metropolitan area of Nashville anymore, but maybe back in the day in these rolling mountains of Tennessee, the Tennessee Wildman was seen. Now, this is someone, actually have it on your screen right there so you can take a look at an artist's rendering of the Tennessee Wildman, but it's kind of Bigfoot adjacent.
Okay.
What I read, though, is that the sightings predates the term Bigfoot.
Ooh.
So many people chalk it up to maybe a Bigfoot type of similar creature or something completely different. Many believe it's more potentially humanoid, like an actual vagabond of just a hairy, unkempt, homeless guy.
That's what it sounds like, a homeless man who lives in the woods.
Yeah.
What does the Tennessee Wildman do?
Makes noises. I think just tries to mind his own business. I don't know if there's ever been any attacks by the Tennessee Wildman per se. So it's not like he's causing a ruckus.
Does he wear clothes?
Debatable.
So there's a naked homeless man hanging around in the woods of Tennessee yelling at people. This is our cryptid for the episode.
Look, we're 5 episodes in. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel already. This is not good. But it's definitely one of those large, hairy, human-like creatures that exist all over the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of big, hairy guys.
These Tennessee Wildmans, they avoid civilization. That's why you're not going to see any on Broadway.
Sure.
But they do emit strange screams and howls. So that's something. Essentially the Southern Appalachian cousin of Bigfoot.
I see.
The term wild man, although appeared frequently in the 1800s in American newspapers, often referring to feral individuals. So it's probably just a kooky old homeless feral guy.
Are there wild women in Tennessee?
No. Well, on Broadway,
Yeah.
they're known as woo girls.
Oh yeah, the Woo Girls.
Mhm.
Is that the sound of the Tennessee Wildman mix? That would be kind of hilarious if that drew the Tennessee Wildman into the city.
Outside of the Tennessee Wildman, of course, we mentioned it earlier in the episode, but they had the Bell Witch.
Yeah, the Bell Witch.
You have anything on that before we wrap up this episode?
I mean, you want to do a whole deep dive on the Bell Witch?
What you got for me?
I mean, nobody's still going to be watching at this point, so what difference does it make? All right. So, the Bell Witch, a fellow by the name of John Bell Sr., he says that he's out on his property one day. This is on the outskirts of Nashville, and he sees a dog. and he shoots at said dog,
Right.
and then the dog disappears. Because in the 1800s, when you saw a dog, you would shoot at it. A couple days later, John Bell's son sees a bird, and then the bird starts to fly away, and it was a damn big bird.
Yeah, it was a huge bird.
It was a giant bird. So they start going like, oh, okay, clearly this is a witch. That's the takeaway from a dog and a bird in the woods of Tennessee. And anyway, the witch starts taunting the family, tormenting them. They're poking people and tearing sheets off of the kids and scratching them and stuff. Ultimately, the witch, they start hearing a voice from the witch, and it claimed to be named Kate.
Yeah.
In particular, it went after the youngest daughter named Betsy, who had just gotten engaged. And
Didn't like the person she was engaged to.
no,
correct?
was not a fan. Used to stab Betsy with needles, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a dick move. Apparently, at one point, the witch said, I'm going to try to read my handwriting here, my very nice notes. I am a spirit. I was once happy, but now I have been disturbed, which is a hell of a thing to say. Although the witch wasn't all bad.
Okay.
This is a fun little tidbit. Apparently, the witch really liked Belle's wife and would bring her fresh fruit.
Oh. Could you imagine being like the one person in the family that the witch like didn't mess with?
He just was like, hey, here's a peach.
It's like everyone wakes up like, oh, I got stabbed again. Oh man, I got itchy skin today. Oh, I got some fresh fruit.
Some fresh fruit.
So yeah, rub it in.
Let's see, what else? Oh, apparently the witch liked to argue scripture and would mimic accents from around the world. And ultimately, the witch said that she was going to kill Bell Sr., and she poisoned him, allegedly. Eventually, the young daughter, Betsy, she called off her engagement, and the witch left. But then 7 years later, the witch came back, but the family at this point decided to just ignore said witch, and then the witch went away forever. Now, the fun tidbit here is that a past president, one Mr. Andrew Jackson, I can tell you this, two things about Andrew Jackson. He loved ghosts and hated Native Americans.
That's historically accurate.
So Jackson decided, he was like, hey, boys, we're going to go look at a witch. So they get up their wagons and they're going to go to the house, right? Mm-hmm. And then as they're riding up to the house, the wagons just stop. They won't go any further. They're trying to get the wagon. The wagon's not going at all.
He's like, you witch.
That's what Andy Jackson's like, boys, it's the witch, right? So he calls it out, and the witch is like, all right, Andy, you go ahead. And the wagon moves again. So then they're hanging out in the house, right? They're just chilling there. And Andrew Jackson brought some stuff for the family to be like, hey, we're going to sleep in your house tonight, which had to be a little weird because it's not like you could call ahead in 1820 or whatever this was. But so supposedly with Andrew Jackson, there was a guy who called himself a witch slayer.
Yeah, was it like sexual exploit type of slang, or
I believe he was going to murder the witch was the idea. And
but he rubbed Andy the wrong way.
Yeah, he was a big chatty Cathy. He was like, boys, I'm gonna fuck this witch up. He was really adamant about it. And Andy Jackson was like, boy, I really wish this witch would show up and just fucking break this guy's nose because he sucks. And then the witch shows up, grabs old boy by the nose, yanks him out of the house, and Andy Jackson's like, yeah, do it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right? And yeah. But it's all fake.
Yeah, it's also important to clarify that this Andrew Jackson story has been passed down verbally, and it was no ever written account that he visited. In fact, during that time, he was running for president, and it would make no sense for him to talk about his witch exploits in the middle of a presidential race.
Yeah. Still a fun story, though.
Still a fun story. I like the idea that there was just one guy in the group who was just bumming him out, and he was like,
dude, I wish the witch would come get him.
Yeah, I think about that about Tyler.
I think the guy was a Navajo is what it was.
Oh, okay.
History jokes.
All right, well, that's probably going to do it for this week's episode of Creeps, Crimes, and Cryptids. Tune in next week when we're talking about Phoenix. We'll be in Phoenix next week. Well, we won't, but we'll be talking about Phoenix. And the comments tell us what you have experienced in the paranormal wise in the state of Tennessee or Nashville. Until then, go to ghostcitytours.com, book a real tour. Don't listen to us idiots, but subscribe. We'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show on whatever platform you use for podcasts, and be sure to check out our other content on the Ghost City Tours YouTube page. The stories, theories, and opinions shared on Creeps, Crimes, and Cryptids are those of the hosts alone and do not necessarily reflect the views of Ghost City Tours, living, dead, or otherwise.